Were the American soldiers at Pearl Harbor in 1941 intentionally sacrificed by U.S. President Roosevelt? Before December 1941, the month of the official entry of the U.S. into the war, most Americans did not want to hear about participating in the war. But the Illuminati, the secret Freemason organization that rules the world, had a different opinion. The U.S. president at that time, Roosevelt, was the first master of a lodge, a member of the CFR and the Committee of 300. His intimate advisors were Baruch and House. The Illuminati placed these two well, which resulted in Roosevelt forcing the promulgation of an unconstitutional law that, starting on April 30th, 1933, required every citizen to deposit gold in the Federal Reserve under penalty of $10,000 or 10 years in prison for disobedience. For an ounce, the bank paid $20.67, even though the market price was $35 an ounce. Roosevelt provoked the Japanese into entering the war, demanding in the ultimatum of November 26, 1941, that they withdraw their troops from Indochina and Manchuria. There are accurate historical data but kept secret. The American Congress learned of this ultimatum after the attack on Pearl Harbor. The Japanese did everything to avoid a war with America. Prince Kanoi, the Japanese ambassador to America, tried countless times to speak to the president in Washington and Honolulu, but he never received him. At the same time, the president lied to his own people in a speech in which he said, "I address myself to the mothers and fathers, making you a promise. I have always said and I say again now that your sons will not be sent to foreign wars." The American military knew that the Japanese would attack Pearl Harbor. The American ambassador in Tokyo, Joseph Grew, wrote to Roosevelt on January 27, 1941, that in the event of war, Japan would attack Pearl Harbor. Congressman Dies brought this fact to Roosevelt's attention, handing him a strategic map with a plan of attack on Pearl Harbor. He was obliged not to talk about it. In 1941, the American Secret Service deciphered the Japanese military codex. Roosevelt and his advisors knew the exact date, time, and place where the Japanese would attack. Al Bielek and Nikola Tesla, who worked and were stationed in Pearl Harbor, were evacuated before the attack. These two engineers were too important to be sacrificed. They were working on the Philadelphia experiment that researched magnetic energy. Many Americans died at Pearl Harbor, and the president could now call the Japanese aggressors cunning pigs and enter the war.